Now we're hunting right now, right in the December lull. And we have a deer out in front of us, so I'm going to see how loud I can talk and get away with. Dylan, you can see it too, can you? Kind of.
Now we're okay.
But anyways, November, December lull, what does that mean? Well, the October lull I really don't believe in. It's more of a myth. And what I mean by that is the October lull to me is brought on by hunting pressure. And you could say, this time of year, there's a lot of hunting pressure been exercised, a whole bunch. But this time of year, I think there's several problems that lead to a lack of deer movement sometimes. Now, we're just starting our second rut. We saw a lot of activity last night, meaning in the last day to 2 days. I actually saw chasing activity last night. Deer running, a 4-point chasing a doe around just loops and laps and coming at me. It was pretty cool. But I'm going to keep looking over my left shoulder. But it's right at the beginning right now. But we're in that awkward stage because when the primary rut ends and before the second rut begins, there's kind of an awkward time in there. Now, we're blessed with great weather right now. When you have great cold weather, it pushes deer to food. And so they'll concentrate to high-quality food sources. We're hunting a high-quality food source right now, a hidden and unpressured food plot with a lot of green and a lot of turnips, a lot of radishes, a lot of annual clover that's like a mat. There's some vetch mixed in there, so there's a lot of volume and mass for a deer to be able to work through a little bit of snow and get a big mouthful. But you think about after the primary rut, bucks really slow down. You think about it, they went hard for 3 weeks and they lost a lot of body weight, a high percentage of body fat. And they need to replenish that. They need to replenish it for energy levels going into winter. Now, contrary to what you might think, mature bucks don't die of winter exposure, winter severity. But that doesn't mean that they don't want to replenish the energy that they lost. Think about this, a mature buck could go into wintertime with a half a tank of gas, and they'll still be able to make it. There's a little fawn behind me out there. I don't even think it goes 100 pounds live weight. Dylan, do you think 80?
No, yeah.
Maybe 70?
A golden retriever.
Yeah, literally. There's another deer out there, by the way. That's a little buck. So those mature bucks, they still want to replenish energy. That fawn right out there, if she doesn't go into the winter with a full tank, she's not going to make it. So she's got to be, and that's why it's great those does and fawns don't move much during the day. But so there's that time where between the primary rut and the secondary rut where bucks need to replenish. Now, if it's not cold weather, it's warm weather, then they're just going to sit there and they don't really need to move. So, yeah, when you get some cold weather this time of year, it's awesome. But it's a really awkward time. And then you add in, not only is it the end of the second rut, not only is the weather sometimes warm in between the primary rut and the second rut, but you've also got a lot of property that's been overpressured. It doesn't matter if it's public or private land, most lands have been overpressured. So that's a really big problem for a lot of areas. Kind of a triple threat. Or when you get into October, if deer haven't been pressured, they're going to still keep eating the same food sources. You get a cold front in October 12th, October 15th, it can be incredible hunting because it even makes them want to hit that food even more. But you don't have that lull after the primary rut in October, and you don't have the lull of warm weather that can you really want frigid cold weather to get them on their feet, meaning snow and cold. Right now it's 19 degrees, so it should put a lot of deer out there on their feet tonight. We've got 2 so far. So what do you do about it? Well, I love focusing on end of November, December rules before the second rut, is you're focusing on piles of does, unpressured food, hidden food sources. Now, it could be a food source out in the open. If it's not pressured, it's hidden. You seen any more deer? And so I'm really focusing on afternoons. I'm not hunting mornings at all. Now, some of you have to hunt mornings, like before you go into afternoon shift. Well, then I'm focusing on outside of a bedding area, going into a bedding area without going through food, and I'm sitting in a stand of acorns, hardwood regen, briars, somewhere where I can count on a food source, where a buck or doe in general might leave that bedding area, go to that food source just outside their bedding area. I'm focusing on a way I can get in and out of that spot in the morning without spooking deer. That's the name of the game. Doesn't matter if you're hunting afternoons or morning, but I place a huge priority on hunting afternoons. You have to get into that stand location, blind location without spooking deer. That means you're not going by bedding areas. You're sometimes going through the food source, sitting on a spot against that food where you can blow your scent, there's no deer, and then you have to go through that area, whether it's an open field, open hardwoods, steep drop off, wet area, to get out. And so concentrating on piles of does, if you can find them, unpressured food, because there won't be many. There won't be many unpressured food sources.
That fawn is tiny.
That fawn makes that 1.5 old, that yearling buck look big. But so I'm focusing on those unpressured food sources, areas where there's does. Doesn't matter if it's public or private land. Public land could be a clear cut, whatever. Swamp edge, areas of diversity where there might be food, upland setting. Those all have a lot of diversity, so there can be food sources. It's pretty interesting right here watching Dylan film this with this hand, and the other hand over here he's filming with the long lens, getting those deer out in the food plot. So talent, Dylan, talent, pure talent. And then I'm focusing on these giant weather changes. So when you get into that November, December lull, I can't call it November lull because we're filming this in December, but I'm really looking for these major weather changes. The weather changes don't have anything to do with the rut, but it can really increase rutting activity, make bucks feel comfortable cruising over a long period, but they're not going to do it without food. So I'm really looking for hunting the backside of major temperature drops, major snowstorms, like we just had 10 inches. Over in Pennsylvania, they said 20 inches about the same time. And so when you couple bucks that need food, need to replenish energy levels, and you add in a snowstorm, big temperature drop, doesn't matter if it's temperature drop from you're experiencing highs in the 70s down in Louisiana, all of a sudden it's in the low 50s, high 40s for the day. That's a major temperature drop. You need to hunt that, because whatever high winds, bad weather caused that temperature and came with that temperature drop will make it really good hunting on the backside. And then, oh, by the way, the second rut is just around the corner, and that's why I'm really focusing especially on those piles of does in the afternoon, because when you add the second rut, a big temp drop, and piles of does and food sources on the afternoon that are hidden, golden opportunity to really beat that November, December lull. November, December lull is a real thing. Again, hunting pressure-based, lack of food sources, quality food sources that haven't been unpressured, and bucks need to just be lazy and not burn off energy like they did for 3 weeks in a row. They can't do that. So we're going to get back to hunting right now.
Yeah, I really appreciate you watching all the way to the end. Your followers really appreciate and taking the time. I wanted to mention we have our last minute food plots you can check out at Pure Wildlife Blends. We have a lot of different seed varieties, especially our fall power greens. We have ways to establish clover this time of year, rye, a lot of different goodies. We also have our client visits. We've already started scheduling for this year, December through next August. So there's 5 of us going to client properties. Make sure you check that out. And then finally, our books and web classes. They're great Christmas presents this time of year is when they really start to sell. So really appreciate you watching. Just check out Whitetail Habitat Solutions, or for this food plot seed company, purewildlifeblends.com. Thank you.